May 1967. Egypt's President Nasser, seeking the hegemony of the Arab world and vowing to destroy Israel, closes the Straits of Tiran to Israel, a clear act of war, and moves thousands of troops toward the Israeli border. Jordan joins the military alliance with Egypt. June 5th, 1967. Confronted with a threat to her very survival, Israel launches a preemptive attack that begins the Six-Day War, and in the victory that follows, changes history and the map of the Middle East. Judea and Samaria are taken from Jordan, along with East Jerusalem and Hebron. The tombs of the patriarchs are restored to Jewish access by the army's chief rabbi, Shlomo Goren, who enters Hebron accompanied only by 2 aides. Jewish prayer is heard once again at the cave of Machpelah, but the government takes no steps to restore Jewish life to Hebron itself. In the spring of 1968, Rabbi Moshe Levinger and his wife Miriam lead 120 Jews to celebrate Passover in Hebron for the first time in over 30 years. After staying in the Park Hotel, the group decides to remain and settle in Hebron despite government opposition. Refusing to leave, the group remains for 3 difficult years awaiting housing, living in an army camp, petitioning the government for the right to live in Hebron. In 1971, a partial victory. The government decides to build the Jewish suburb of Kiryat Arba on a hill outside Hebron.
After Six-Day War, when we could come back to Hebron, we decided to come back. We gathered a group and we continued the old history, the important history of Hebron.
And in the beginning, we lived in the military compound, and after starting off in an Arab hotel in Hebron, and from the military compound we moved to Kiryat Arba, the new neighborhood which was built inside of Hebron.
So we did the most important thing that we could do to the Jewish people to continue our old important history in these old cities in Eretz Israel, in our old country.
Today, Kiryat Arba is a growing, vibrant community of 6,000 Jews. It is trees growing where none grew before, clean streets of rough-hewn native stone, new homes, schools, yeshivot, shops, a field study school. Its residents, young and old from around the world, including the newest immigrants, the ancient Jewish community of Ethiopia, rescued in Operation Moses. It is the surge and hum of industry in a modern industrial zone as technologies old and new are harnessed and developed. It is the sweet and dry wines of Hebron's ancient vineyards replanted and nurtured anew. It is the Ulpana Girls Academy, where 230 young women of many backgrounds and ethnic groups, Jews from modern and ancient stocks, learn the skills for tomorrow while keeping alive the heritage of the past.
And the main thing was not only that pioneers, a little group, came here and made here a new congregation, but we made it as pioneers for the Jewish people and for the Jewish government.
Professor Ben-Zion Tavger, a renowned Soviet Jewish physicist, arrived in Hebron in 1974 and undertook by himself the restoration of the old Jewish cemetery. The cemetery and the graves of the 1929 victims restored, Tavger, who had been a refusenik in the USSR, began to teach physics at the university. But soon he would devote more and more of his energies to the restoration of Jewish Hebron. He now undertook a most challenging task, rehabilitation of the ruined Avraham Avinu synagogue, which was buried under garbage, having been reduced to a goat pen and public toilet. Opposition soon came from several quarters, the local Arabs and even the Israeli government, which hauled him into court. But the professor stood firm in his beliefs and purpose and prevailed. Slowly, the ruins of the once noble synagogue were restored and transformed. The professor soon relinquished his teaching post to devote his full energies to the rebuilding of Hebron, and with his wife and 3 children settled in Kiryat Arba. The fully restored Avraham Avinu Synagogue opened once again to the sounds of prayer in May 1981, after nearly 55 years of ruination and desecration.
The age of the parchment tells a story, and the words give it meaning. The Torah scrolls remained in Jerusalem until 1985. After the synagogue had been restored, the Ark rebuilt, erasing the carnage and desolation of 60 years, the Torah scrolls were returned to their original Ark. The first Torah was returned to the Ark by an 80-year-old survivor, representing the generation of yesteryear which still lives. The second Torah was returned to the Ark by an Ethiopian Jew, who crossed the Sudanese desert over 2 years to return to the land of Israel and to settle in Hebron.
But Professor Tavger did not live to fully enjoy the fruits of his dedication and vision. He passed away in August 1983 at the age of 52, while much of his work was in progress. Like the man, the synagogue is a model of dignity and simplicity. Like the synagogue, the man holds a special place in the hearts of his people. The rebirth of the Jewish quarter is his legacy.